to Would I Lie to You at Christmas, a very special edition filled with festive fibs. On Lee Mack's team tonight, a TV star who'll be spending Christmas with her husband, Ozzy. She'll be stuffing the turkey and he'll be biting its head off. It's Sharon Osbourne. And a doctor-turned-TV presenter. So if you've had a long wait at A&E today, apologies, but we booked him first. It's Dr. Ranj Singh. And on David Mitchell's team tonight, a writer and comedian who created a little-known show called The Office. And I, for one, wish him all the luck in the world with it. It's Stephen Merchant. And a wild animal biologist, although I don't know if she's a biologist of wild animals or just an animal biologist who's a bit feisty. It's Liz Bonin. Right, we begin with round one, Home Truths, where our panellists read out a statement from the card in front of them. Now, to make things harder, they've never seen the card before. They have no idea what they'll be faced with. It's up to the opposing team to sort the fact from the fiction. Stephen is first up.
I am in a Madness tribute act. Sorry, what I meant to say was Merry Christmas, Steve.
Thank you. I once concealed a serious injury because I didn't want a builder to think I wasn't one of the boys.
Please, team.
You pretended you had a serious.
No, he concealed it.
Oh, he concealed, I'm sorry.
Concealed means hidden.
Thank you very much. You can't dance to save your life. Right, and what was this injury?
Thank you. No, thanks for asking. It was quite a severe hand injury.
What happened to your hand?
I was at a like a place where they sell glass, and I cut my hand there.
Why did you care what the builder thought of you?
Well, I had gone to buy some glass, and my father, who used to be in the building business, said, "Oh, careful, son." Don't know where he's from.
Was he a pirate?
I think he was. He said, "Be careful, mate, when you go in there, because if they think that you're like some specky student type, they'll hike the price." So I went into the shop and I tried to seem quite sort of geezery.
How did you do that? How did you do that?
I was like, all right, you geezer. I said, where's the glass, mate? And he's like, we got a ton of it. I went, cheers. And I sort of went over, and in the shop, it's sort of stacked up a bit like, you know, if you go in...
But not like this story.
And I went to look at a piece like that, and I slid it... Oh! Well, yes, you're right, because the chap behind there, the geezer, said, oh, don't do that, mate. He said, you might cut yourself. And obviously I didn't, and I went, I think I know what I'm doing, Chief. I threw in a chief. And looked at my hand, gash, huge gash. And I went, oh. But I didn't want him to see that I'd cut my hand, because then he'd know I wasn't one of the lads.
But what
so
were you
I put my hand in my pocket.
Did it not seep through?
Yes, it did.
Oh,
yes.
So you now had a patch of blood on your pocket?
It's sort of kind of dribbling down the leg for quite a while.
Was it?
I want to know about when you went to pay for it, because that's tricky, because you've got one hand's out of action.
Firstly, I tried to bandage it.
What with?
Well, there you are. That was yes, that was awkward. Well,
in the pocket?
Well, no, what I did was I said, oh, I pretended to take a phone call.
Right.
And I said, and I went, you know, hello, you muppets. And then I got to take this.
Yeah, it's Kermit the Frog.
Yeah. And then I went outside, and I was looking to see if there was any shops nearby. Yeah. And there was a sort of, you know, a corner shop, and so I popped in there.
What did you get? Tissues?
I'm not sure I want to say.
Well, you have to.
Oh, I know what you used.
Oh, no, you didn't.
You used a diaper, didn't you?
You used a panty liner, didn't you?
Yes, I did, yes.
Great idea. Really good idea.
Good, thank you, doctor.
Very good.
Trained doctor, said it was a good idea.
You used a panty liner on your bleeding hand?
Yes. Well,
And then took that out of your pocket.
Well, no, I kept that in the pocket when I went back in the shop because I didn't want...
Do you know
I was
what?
worried that he might think I wasn't
Yes.
one of the lads if I had a panty liner on my hand. So I kept that hidden. I kept that from him.
Do you remember the cost, Steve?
I didn't get the discount.
Oh, they charge you the top whack.
charge
They charge you the top idiot's rate.
Yes.
Stephen, darling, how many stitches did you have in your hand?
I didn't actually get stitches in the end.
What did you do?
I think I just let it sort of heal.
Naturally. Yes, more organic, yes.
Thank you. Yes.
You know what's also organic? Tetanus.
So, Sharon, what are you
Yes.
thinking? Is this true, do you think?
I think it is.
Why? Why do you think it's true?
Because I think he's trying to throw us off by...
Being vague about
Yes,
Yeah.
very vague.
I think you're lying because I would have thought you'd have gone and got medical attention and got it seen to.
I don't know who to trust the most. I mean, it's Hobson's choice, isn't it? I'm 51-49. It's very close.
OK.
True, I think.
Sharon,
I think that's how
what's
much it
your-
cost.
51-49! Finally!
Right, you're saying it's true.
I say it's true.
You're saying it's true. Steve, was it true or were you telling a lie?
It was a truth.
Sharon, you're next.
OK, I once sacked a member of my staff because he showed absolutely no sense of humour during a house fire.
David's true.
So what was burning?
The house.
No, but where in the house did the fire start?
In our living room.
And this member of staff, what was his job?
He was my husband's assistant at the time.
OK.
So, and you find him because he didn't find it amusing? Or he...
Why did you find it amusing?
Did you start it?
No, well, yes, but no.
How did it begin, Sharon? Just How
OK.
did this happen?
Christmas.
Yes.
Beautiful kind of, you know, chilly Christmas night. And my hubby and I thought, oh, well, let's light this beautiful gift that somebody had just given us. And it was this big candle in this copper kind of vessel that it's in. And we turned the lights out and we watched a Christmas movie and then we went up to bed.
We'll draw a veil there. What happened then?
This alarm was ringing and ringing.
An alarm went off?
Yes,
Right.
a fire alarm.
Was Ozzy keen to go down and have a look?
Yes, I sent him down.
Ah, OK.
Yes.
He got, I can't go down, I'm flammable.
And so he went down, and suddenly I hear my name being called. Sharon, Sharon, help me, help me.
The ghost of Christmas past.
So I went downstairs, and there he was in the living room, and his arm was on fire.
His what?
Arm.
His arm. Was he in pyjamas or what's he got on?
No, he had a sling on like this.
His
and the
sling was on
sling-
fire?
And half his hair.
Half his hair?
Half his hair was all on fire. So,
So you started laughing?
Yes. So then...
Where was this assistant during all of this? Why?
Sleeping. So anyway...
Very dare me.
And by this time, the candle had melted this thing that wasn't copper. It was like cheapo. It wasn't copper.
Oh, that's illegal. That
It
pretended
is.
to be
Yeah.
a copper.
But you see, in America... I just got it. Anyway, so I picked up the magazine and I'm hitting Ozzy with the magazine. Not
You
thinking...
idiot! Don't catch fire!
Yes. And I'm thinking, "Yeah, guys," and then the magazine caught on fire.
Was it heat?
So then outside, there was a fountain.
Right.
So I pushed Ozzy out.
You threw him in the fountain?
And then
Made
the
a wish?
arm... And his hair stops.
Yes.
Yeah. It had all, yes. And then I think, right, where is that oven assistant? So I go into the guest house.
Yes.
And he's going, everything all right, you know, and I'm like, no, house is on fire, get out, help, go in, get the paintings out.
It's what a personal assistant's #1 job, go into a burning building and get the art out.
Fetch that magic eye.
Yeah. The cat calendar in the kitchen, there's still 4 days to go on it.
And there were dogs, and I said, you must go in and find the dogs.
Yeah.
And so he was like humming and hawing, this ex-assistant. So anyway, he did get the dogs, and so the fire engines arrived, very lovely people, and then they came and they had this oxygen for the assistant. So then I said to him, how very dare you? You work here and you get more paintings out right now.
You can oxygenate your blood on your own time.
And I took the mask.
You didn't take the mask off him.
I took the mask and I put it on my dog.
Seriously? You said in the card you sacked him for not having a sense of humour. Isn't that what you said?
Yes, because...
Where's the humour in the
Well, after this terrible night, he was not talking to me. And Ozzy and I were recounting everything, and we were laughing and laughing, and he goes, I don't see what's funny about any of this. And he said, I think I'm going to have damaged lungs, and I mean, please. So then I said, if you don't think that's funny, do you think this is funny? And he goes, what? I said, you're fired.
You used the word fired.
All right, Liz, what are you thinking?
I 100% believe this story.
So totally true for you. Stephen?
I think I'm inclined to agree with Liz. There's a lot of very, very good detail.
So you're going to say it's true?
100%.
And I think we're hoping that it's true. Sharon, were you telling the truth or were you telling a lie?
Well, the answer is it's true.
Yes, true. Sharon really did sack someone because they didn't have a sense of humour. Our next round is called This Is My, where we bring on a mystery guest who has a close connection to one of our panellists. Now, this week, each of David's team will claim it's them that has the genuine connection to the guest. It's up to Lee's team to spot who is telling the truth. So please welcome this week's special guest, Nolan. So, Stephen, what is Nolan to you?
Well, this is Nolan, and we once caused a genuine accident whilst filming a fake one for You've Been Framed.
Liz, how do you know Nolan?
This is my old friend Nolan. When we were at school together, he refused to remove a spider from under my desk until I agreed to pay him a fee.
And David, what is your relationship with Nolan?
This is Nolan, and I once spent New Year's Day comforting his drunk sheep.
Lee's team, where would you begin?
Stephen. Should we start with Stephen? He looks the shiftiest, doesn't he? Stephen. So, Stephen.
Yes, sir.
When was this?
Back in the day.
Back in the day. And talk us through what you intended to do.
Well, I think we thought that, you know, good money to be earned from a video on You've Been Framed. And so the plan was, during a lunch hour, we would go to my house, my parents' house, where I lived. I'm supposedly walking out of the living room. Nolan comes in, he bumps into me, you know, hits me with the door.
This is part of the fictional...
This is the fictional version, and it smacks me in the face, and I fall backwards over the sofa.
Nice.
250 quid, done.
Right.
So, so we're trying that, that's the plan.
Had you rehearsed it?
Well, during the rehearsal, we did this.
Did you videotape the rehearsal?
No. Well, I thought we were filming, but you know how sometimes when you press record on a camera, it's you're actually pausing it because it was already running.
Oh, yeah.
So, I say action, but we get the timing all wrong. And so he comes in, and he hits me with the door, but it was a genuine accident. I wasn't timing it right, and I ripped the door off its hinges, and I flipped backwards over the couch.
I mean, that sounds unbelievable.
What can I tell you? And we thought, this is dynamite, did you get it? And we said to our friend, did you get it?
Yeah.
But of course, you got the timing wrong, so what we saw was us going, this is going to be amazing. Blank, and then, oh, God, what have I done? What have I done? That was kind of what we had on the table.
OK, so you...
Yes, who's Nolan? Why doesn't he talk?
Why doesn't he talk?
Yes.
He's not allowed. It's not because he's traumatised. That's the rules.
All right, OK. Who would you like to quiz next?
Liz, can you remind us how you know Nolan?
Nolan and I were in school together.
Oh, yeah.
And he only agreed to remove the spider from under my desk if I agreed to pay him a fee.
Right.
How much was it?
Was it money?
How are you a doctor?
What were you thinking?
Sweets.
Yeah.
Has anyone checked his doctor credentials? Or is he a doctor like Dr. Dre is a doctor?
So, first of all, so you two went to school together then? Are you two the same age then? Has he had, like, a much harder life?
Irish gentlemen tend to weather quite
Mr.
quickly.
Nolan's Irish.
Sorry, Nolan.
Are you related to the Nolan sisters?
No. Nolan is his first name, whereas with the Nolan sisters, do you remember?
Yes.
That was their surname.
So, tell me the conversation with Nolan. How did it go?
There's a spider under my desk.
All right.
I think I went, ooh, you know, I started getting a little bit nervous of the spider. I love
Did
spiders.
the teacher not say, pipe down?
Well, we were in detention at the time.
Right. Do you just want to explain to David what detention is?
David.
Actually, I had to go to detention once.
Why?
Wow.
Because of an injustice.
So, Liz, you see the spider, you nudge Nolan. How close is Nolan?
I didn't nudge Nolan, but I went, there's a spider under my desk. He immediately went, I'll get rid of it for you, but, like, give us some money.
Did you not think to say to the teacher, look, I'm sorry to complain, but there's a spider under my desk?
Sorry, excuse me.
No.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to complain. Is there some sort of feedback form I can put this on?
Have you seen Nolan since, or is this the first time?
We do see each other every now and then in Dublin, because Dublin's very small.
Right.
So we do bump into each other every now and
And
then.
how are you now with spiders?
I'm great with spiders. Why?
Now, what about David?
Remind us, David.
This is Nolan. I once spent New Year's Day comforting his drunk sheep.
When was this?
I think about 10 years ago.
Right. Why was his sheep drunk?
Alcohol.
All right.
The
let me read-
consumption of alcohol was what I put it down to.
How did the sheep get alcohol?
The sheep was hanging around the back of a pub.
Wearing stockings.
Not that I noticed, Sharon. I was with a group of friends staying in a little house.
How many friends?
I think there were about 8 of us.
That is definitely a lie.
Can we get to the whole thing of why the sheep
Yes.
was drunk
Well-
and who gave the sheep the alcohol?
The sheep had found the alcohol for itself. There have been some bottles and some drip trays left out the back of the pub after the New Year's Eve revelry.
Yeah.
And the sheep had gone and
Swigged a bottle.
Yeah, I didn't see the initial drinking, but
Yeah.
I've always assumed it was more of a sort of lapping from a drip tray.
Yeah.
But it may be that the sheep had lifted up a bottle and
Yeah.
you know,
Next
delicately brought it to its
And
neck.
when you came across this sheep, what state was he in? Paint a picture for us.
The sheep, well, if you imagine a sheep...
You've lost your friends, they seem to have vanished again, and you're at the back of the pub on your own.
One of my friends...
Gentle tear trickling down on New Year's Day. Not another 12 months of this, you're saying to yourself.
Absolutely, yeah. No, one of my friends is with me. You know, had gone for a walk on New Year's Day.
You and the friend?
Yeah.
Right.
We'd been staying in this cottage on Nolan's farm. We wandered into the village, and in the pub car park, there was a sheep behaving eccentrically.
How is that?
It was capering about. Maybe there was the odd bleat. I'm not sure.
Looking at the clouds,
it was-
going, as you
it
look
was-
at them there.
So far, you've painted a very vivid picture, but there's no sign of Nolan.
No, well, my friend goes and gets him. We figured it's probably a sheep from that farm.
Yes.
And either way, he's the only person we knew locally who knew what to do about sheep.
How did you actually comfort that sheep?
I mean, all you can do, really, is I stayed with it. I was there.
All right, we need an answer, so Lee's team. Is Nolan Stephen's pranking pal, Liz's mercenary mate, or David's sheepish shepherd?
I think it is Liz.
You think it's Liz? Because...
He's got an Irish
How'd you do that without moving your lips? Did you catch that? That's absolutely amazing. Do it again. Wow.
Just because I think... My chair's sinking.
Someone's had some extra mince pies this year.
Send this clip to Ukraine.
Is it Bring Your Child to Work Day? So Ranj thinks it's Liz.
Yeah.
It's Liz.
What does Sharon think?
Is it more
I
like...
think Stephen.
It's Liz or Stephen. We'll say Liz.
You're going to say it's Liz. OK. Nolan, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Nolan, and Stephen and I tried to video a film for Ukraine.
Yes, Nolan is Stephen's pranking pal. Thank you very much, Nolan. Which brings us to our final round, quickfire lives, and we start with... It's Stephen.
One New Year's Eve, a group of strangers used me as a living landmark.
Please, team.
What are you talking about?
Well, they threw a firework at you, right?
No? Not everyone's a pyromaniac, Karen. No, I was down in Trafalgar Square because it was New Year, and, you know, it gets very popular down there, very busy.
Well, how long ago was this?
This was probably 10 years ago when I was more, you know, more of a young, free and single player, guy about town.
Yeah.
You know, down in Trafalgar Square at the stroke of midnight New Year's Eve. You know what I'm talking about.
Well, I've been there at lunchtime.
OK. Because I'm 6'7", obviously, tower above, I can see everybody. You know, and I see a group of young ladies. And I thought, here we go, lads, watch out. Because they were looking at me, I thought, they've seen me on the telly. Of course they have. They're looking for a bit of Happy New Year, I thought. They're looking for some Steve action. And they came over and they said to me, are you going to be here for a while? And I said, yes, I am. And they said, great, because we've arranged to meet back at you. In Trafalgar Square, where there's no other obvious landmarks.
I'd just like to say something.
Yes.
Because when you said in the beginning landmark, I thought you said landmine. That's why I said a firework, you see.
Well, hang on.
But why would you throw a firework?
At a landmine?
To set it off.
It's a lovely thing to laugh about at Christmas. Landmine. Cluster bomb.
You think it's true or a lie?
I think it's true.
You think it's true?
Yes.
You say true.
We'll go with true.
Stephen, they're saying it's true. Was it the truth or was it a lie?
It is true.
Next, It's Lee.
Possession.
Right, there's a box under the desk. There we are. Now then,
Lovely.
would you, first of all, Lee, take the item out of the box, pop it on the desk, and then when you've done that, read the card?
This is Big Bertha. Every Christmas morning, I use it to wake my wife from her peaceful slumber by honking it in her face.
David's team.
Why did this tradition begin?
It started because I am very excited about Christmas morning. I always get up nice and early. I'm actually one of the few people that are up before the kids get up.
Why did you feel that you couldn't just let your wife either wake up naturally or perhaps just wake her up in a more gentle and dare I say it, human way?
I did a different system for the first 3 years. That didn't work.
You got some lovely kids.
Why don't you imagine that the beautiful Sharon Osbourne...
Sharon, you're my
Mrs.
wife.
Mac.
Yes.
OK, now,
Right, yes.
if you could just get into character, pass wind, snore. So, she's asleep, and then I wake up. 4:30. It's time for the trumpet. Under the bed.
Who are you speaking to when you say that?
This is the internal monologue.
Oh, this is...
Yeah.
Internal monologue.
Try and communicate that just with your face, just with the eyes.
OK, then.
Lovely bit of acting, isn't it? Yeah.
I get it out like this, nice and quiet. Oi, who's he? She wakes up, same joke every year. I go, sorry about that, I'm off the duvet. And then she wakes up, yeah, and then... I was holding back.
What do you think, Steve?
I don't know, there's something that doesn't quite ring true. I can't put my finger on it. I don't know what it is.
What about you, David?
It is a lie.
Oh, there we are. So, was it the truth, or were you telling a lie?
Well, I was, in fact, telling... a lie.
Oh, that noise signals time is up. It's the end of the show. I can reveal that David's team have won by 3 points to 2. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Good night.
Well, today's Boxing Day, which is Thursday, and on Saturday night it's the Hit List Celebrity Special, 7:45. And where does Liam's toxic behaviour come from? BBC 3 comedy Ladhood is streaming on BBC iPlayer.